In 2018, Australia's trust in its financial institutions was shattered. At the center of it all was AMP, a company once synonymous with security and financial well-being. But the Royal Commission into Misconduct in the banking, superannuation, and financial services industry revealed something deeply troubling. In this video, we'll explore the truth behind AMP's actions, the ethical failures, the consequences, and how it could have been avoided.
The Royal Commission into Misconduct in the banking, superannuation, and financial services industry exposed a series of serious failings at AMP. One of the most alarming findings was AMP's practice of charging planner servicing fees or PSFs to clients without providing any financial advice, impacting over 6,300 members and resulting in more than 1 million in unjustified charges. The company further compounded this misconduct by misleading ASIC on over 20 occasions and even supplying altered documents during investigations. Along with these failures, AMP's trustees delegated critical responsibilities to internal business units without proper oversight, failing to intervene even when some investment options delivered negative net returns. The situation was made worse by the inadequacy of AMP's business monitoring model, which failed to detect key systemic issues such as the mishandling of fee rebates. It was only under the scrutiny of APRA that any meaningful correction of fee was made, as the trustees proved passive, conflicted, and largely ineffective in fulfilling their fiduciary duties. Finally, the Commission found out that AMP's trustees had little to no visibility over how their financial products were being distributed, further highlighting a culture of neglect and poor accountability within the organization.
AMP's conduct during the Royal Commission exposed serious ethical failings from a deontological perspective which focuses on duty and rules. AMP breached its obligation to act in the best interest of its clients. A clear example was charging fees for financial services that were never provided, even to the deceased clients, which directly violated fiduciary duties. Under utilitarianism, which evaluates actions based on overall consequences, AMP's actions caused significantly more harm than good. Thousands of customers suffered financial losses while the company pursued short-term gains. This resulted in widespread public distrust and long-term damage to the industry's credibility. Through the lens of virtue ethics, AMP demonstrated a lack of honesty, courage, and care. The company misled ASIC, delayed breach reporting, and manipulated internal reports to minimize its wrongdoing. These actions show how a corporate culture driven by profits rather than values can lead to systematic ethical collapse. The consequences of AMP's misconduct were both financial and reputational. In the wake of revelations, both the CEO and chairman of the board resigned, reflecting a breakdown in leadership and accountability. AMP was fined $14.6 million in 2022, paid $26.5 million in compensation to affected clients, and settled a $110 million shareholder class action. However, the most damaging consequence was the long-term erosion of public trust. AMP's brand suffered significantly, with investors' confidence dropping and clients reconsidering their relationship with the company. Regulators and media questioned AMP's ability to rebuild its ethical standing. This case serves as a critical reminder that ethical failures aren't just theoretical, they result in real legal, financial, and reputational consequences. AMP's story underscores the need for a strong ethical culture, one that goes beyond policies and is embedded in leadership, system, and daily decision making.
I would like to discuss how following the CFA ethical standards could have helped prevent the issues we saw with AMP's management of superannuation funds. Let's start by looking at the standards they were not followed. They violated Standard 1, Standard 3, Standard 4, and Standard 6, which are professionalism, duties to clients, duties to employers, last but not least, conflicts of interest, respectively. Standard 1A, knowledge of the law. There were obvious failures to comply with legal standards and obligations, such as charging fees, which are contrary to legal requirements. A stronger emphasis on the CFA standard regarding knowledge of the law could have ensured that trustees were better informed about their regulatory obligations. Standard 1C, misrepresentations. If trustees had followed transparency guidelines, misrepresentations about fund performance and management may have been reduced. Standard 3A, loyalty, prudence, and care. The trustees' duties indicate a failure to act in the best interest of their members. A strong commitment to these principles might represent members' financial interest of price structure and performance monitoring. Standard 3B, fair dealing and suitability. The evidence suggests that there were insufficient reporting and oversight of fund and investment performance, implying that fairness in dealing with clients and ensuring suitability of advice were compromised. Standard 4A, loyalty. There appear to be a conflict between the trustees' obligations to their members and their reliance on outsourced entities within the AMP group. Maintaining a strong devotion to their members would have required more rigorous monitoring of the group's structures. Standard 6A, avoid or disclose conflicts. The trustees' dependence on outsourced providers within the AMP groups may result in inherent conflicts of interest. Adherence to these standards would have been required active monitoring, transparent disclosure of such conflicts. Firstly, training and compliance programs. Regular training on ethical standards, compliance, and regular requirements may help trustees understand their obligations and the importance of following the ethical standards. Secondly, mandated oversights. Implementing stronger control of trustee decisions, particularly those involving outsourcing contracts, will ensure that they act in the best interest of their members. At last, transparent reporting requirements. Establishing clear obligations for trustees to report on their decision-making process and the performance of outsourced businesses will increase accountability.
The societal fallout from AMP's misbehavior was extensive. Public trust in Australia's financial institutions, particularly the superannuation sector, has fallen drastically. Retirees who relied on AMP for a safe financial future were left unsecured alongside reduced savings due to hidden costs and poor oversight. Beyond individual losses, the fraud induced enormous protests among the public, which led to regulatory reforms and boosted supervision of the business. People began to wonder if financial services providers generally behave in their best interest, eroding trust in the entire industry. The AMP case became a symbol of perilous when ethics are ignored, and once lost, confidence is extremely difficult to regain. AMP's ethical breakdown is not merely a lesson for one company, it is a warning to the entire financial service sector. Ethics must be incorporated into everything. Without a strong ethical foundation, customers' reputation and sustainability over the long term. We all have an active role to play in demanding transparency, responsibility, and fairness from the financial organizations that we count on. We must keep talking about these issues, enlighten ourselves, and hold firms accountable if we want to see a more ethical financial future. Let us make sure that ethics take precedence over finance, since without ethics there is no trust, and without trust there is no long term success.